Here's another one. Tying up your hair creates neck tension. So like a ponytail creates neck tension. And to finish that, they had mentioned that's why opera singing leads always wear their hair down. Which I really like.
No, they're wearing wigs and it's pulled tighter than like a ponytail ever could.
It's up all on top of your head in pin curls.
The tying your hair up creates neck tension. I'm really glad that someone brought this up because, and I couldn't get a hold of him, years ago, because I'm a constant ponytail, I wear my hair in a ponytail every day of my life, or braid, but ponytail usually. Years ago when I started going to a massage therapist, he said to me, do you always wear your hair in a ponytail? And I said, yes, almost. And he said, you have a lot of neck tension from that. And I totally forget the railing in that he gave me. I forget what muscles and why and all that stuff. But I do remember him telling me that. And when I looked up some photos of how our neck and head muscles connect, it makes total sense because there is a big muscle right here that connects to your neck muscles and to your back. So it makes sense that if you wear a ponytail and you're pulling those muscles tight across your head.
A tight ponytail,
yeah. If you're pulling those muscles tight all the time, it could cause tension.
Yeah, because there's a flat muscle that's all the way on top of your head.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. Yes?
Like for me, sometimes when I have my hair tight in a ponytail and then I take it out, it hurts because like my hair is going back down. Is that because like the muscles
That's the same sort of thing. The muscles are reacting to the finally, it's like holding, squeezing. It's that tension, right? When you finally let go, you get kind of pins and needles, kind of, oh, it feels so good, but it hurts at the same time feeling, right? Yeah.
But don't you think that also has to do with the direction of the hair follicles, that the hair follicles are being pulled in one direction and then the blood just starts to flow in another direction. It just feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yes?
So if you wear your hair up all the time, because I wear my hair up all the time, is it going to affect your singing?
It could affect your neck muscles, right? And in turn, so your neck muscles are so complex, it could affect what's going on. I personally have I carry a lot of tension in my neck and shoulders, and I have to go for massages. I cannot live without them. So again, it's just recognizing your own body and how it works and how it reacts to different things. Was there another question over here? Yeah? No? Okay. Another one, ballet helps your voice. Another one was dancers learn to breathe differently than singers, so it's hard to train in both disciplines while breathing wisely. I couldn't find a scientific link to either of those, again, because there are arguments on both sides. Most dancers, what I did kind of find from the general research is that most dancers seem to be taught to breathe through the phrase, regardless of what style of dance you're doing. And this is an emotional thing, right? Your voice teachers will do this with you when you sing, too, that you sing through the phrase. And you're finding that emotional energy and that emotional connection right from the pelvic floor, right? And if there's stiffness in the body, then the breath can't move freely. So if a dancer is having trouble singing, it may or may not be linked to the dance, but it's some sort of stiffness in the body. Does that make sense? Okay.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah.
Just from some of the singers that I've worked with who have a very strong dance training, and it depends on the type of dance, I find. But those who have classical ballet training, where I've just recently been working with an Irish dancer, and what I find is that in dance, the emphasis is usually on the posture being in and up, and there's quite a bit of rigidity here, and what I find is difficult a lot of times for dancers is to feel the release of those abdominal muscles and to find the suppleness and the groundedness in the floor. Whereas a modern dancer who's really going into the pelvis and using the muscles like that, and they're really flexible in the body, that they have, it seems to me, they have an easier time. I have absolutely no scientific research to back that up, but that would be my, just an observation that I've made in my teaching, that it will often be people who have classical ballet training, the thing that they find the most difficult is to get the suppleness in the abdominal muscles, because they tend to be in and up rather than down and released.
Right. We've got a few more left. Taking ibuprofen or any Advil-based product and then singing could result in a vocal hemorrhage. Aspirin is a blood thinner. And hemorrhaging can be worse if it happened, as long as the drug was still in your system, then we have a risk. So yes, true. Very, very unlikely. But
the question was about Advil.
Yes.
Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen, which is not aspirin.
Ibuprofen is not aspirin. Advil is aspirin.
So aspirin is a blood thinner and could make a hemorrhage worse if it happened through vocal abuse, which is generally how a blood hemorrhage happens. But I think Advil would dull any pain.
Yes.
So if you were having a vocal hemorrhage, or if you were abusing your voice, you may not feel the impact or feel the pain because you would have that dulled by the ibuprofen. So in that sense, it could make it worse. But none of those things would cause a vocal hemorrhage.
I did actually read something, and I should find that out for you, because I believe there is some clinical research that shows that singers actually should not take ibuprofen.
Maybe that's
but
what
I need to find that out, and I could.
But you can find that today. Did you look that?
Maybe. I was all over looking for this one. Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
I'll see if I can find that piece of research.
That rings a bell to me too, and I don't know where I would have heard of it.
Why do we yawn? That was a question. A yawn is it's associated with stretch. The exact reason why we yawn, there are a million reasons. We're bored, we're tired. Some people say that it's because we have extra CO2 in our system and our body wants to get rid of it. Some people are arguing now that it's to help cool the brain down, that our brain is too hot and a yawn helps cool it. There's a whole bunch of things being researched on it right now. But basically, a yawn is a stretch of everything from your lungs, because they're suspended, all the way up to your ear and nasal passages. And it stretches everything inside. So it makes us feel good. Yawning is good.
Let's all do it now.
Yeah.
Almost at the end of the day.
Yeah. Last one. Why is it that after training you can't reach the high notes the same as when you started? So again, just like athletes, our muscles get tired, right? If an athlete runs a course over and over and over and over and over, they're gonna get tired. Their muscles get sore. And as singers, if we sing the same phrase over and over and over and over and over, we get sore and our voice gets tired. It could also have something to do with your overall energy, right? If your body is tired, then singing a higher phrase might be difficult to access because it takes a little more energy. But basically, if you're having problems singing a high phrase, make sure that you're doing it properly, first of all, that the breath is there, and then and that there's no tension, right? And if there is tension, then you gotta work on those massages and stuff, right? So I don't know if you guys want to add on that one.
Well, I was going to say, probably if you're tiring from singing a phrase, I mean, like you say, if you sang it 100 times, that's why you're tired.
Yeah.
But if you only sang it a few times, then there might be something behaviorally going on there.
So knowing your body again. We also had, why do men reach super low notes? Because their vocal cords are bigger. That's about it. They're bigger, so they can sing lower. We had some questions about, is there a healthy way to scream?
Well,
screaming chorus.
We did a screaming chorus this year, and we found a healthy way to scream. And what we did was we found that belt mix resonance that we were talking about earlier today. So we kind of used a blend of the two musculatures, of the two registers, and we brought a really bright, twangy ah vowel into the front, and we didn't let it go into a curdle, I called it, but you know, a curdly sound.
I love that.
In the voice. And we rehearsed it like a fry, but yeah, exactly. And we did a screaming chorus for our KW Symphony Intersections concert with our choir, and nobody hurt themselves. We all stayed healthy. I wouldn't have wanted anybody doing it longer than we did it. I don't recommend doing that for long periods of time. But certainly, if you have to scream in a show, if you're ever directed to scream, like a scream of terror or surprise or something, that yes, there are ways to learn how to do it, so that if you do one a night, I mean, I think you'd be fine doing that.
But when you go to Wonderland, you have to scream like a singer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because scream is a primal sound too.
Yeah, it's a natural thing. Our bodies are meant to do it, but doing it over and over again is going to hurt yourself, right? And I remember talking to a couple of friends in university, and we were talking about a Wonderland trip, and we were going over Behemoth, and we scream like singers. We go, oh, all the way down, right? So screaming healthy. Oh yeah, but who cares? Who cares? It was healthy. Lastly, there was one question that's kind of it's not a vocal question, but I will answer it because we're busting this. Is tone deafness a neurological condition? Some people sing poorly. What I found out is a scientific fact, and this is very recent actually. It was just published by Harvard in 2007. Some people sing poorly but can hear pitch just fine. Okay, so there are two different kinds of tone deafness. Some people have problem imitating pitch, and some people can't, but some people can't pick up the differences in pitch and can't follow a simple tune. Okay, so those people we call amusics. I think I'm saying that right. We don't know why or how, but brain scans in amusic people shows that they seem to possess amusic. I think I'm saying that right.
What a word.
I know. And it's 1 in 20 people are affected by this, actually.
Really?
It's really interesting, yeah. Amusics seem to possess a weaker brain connection between our sound processors, our frontal lobe, which is our thinking and comprehending area, and our speech comprehension and forming part of our brain.
I wonder if it has to do with, you know how you make neural connections as a young person as you have experiences, right? You make neural connections, and then if you don't use something, you lose the neural connection. If somebody never hears music, I wonder if it just totally cuts off their
I don't know.
music.
So this is obviously something that they're starting to research, but it's not a vocal thing. If you can't sing in tune, it's not because your voice doesn't work. It's because something else is going on, but we don't know what.
It is a neural problem.
Yes.
I don't. Does anyone know the show Quirks and Quarks?
Oh yeah.
CBC. Love it.
Yep.
I heard one a while back where they actually talked about now they've found research that that actually exists rhythmically as well. They found a man, and they think that it's actually pretty common that actually can't sense rhythm.
Well, we all know people who can't dance, right?
Well,
that
and
could be part of it.
They busted that it's not they can't dance. There are people who can't just, because they did simple things like just stopping on the beat, and eventually people would all get on it, but they had like this guy who just couldn't, and they think that they haven't expanded it beyond that. It's like very fresh, but there's actually a rhythmicness, like you can't sense rhythm, which is totally crazy.
Yeah. So the overall point of Mythbusters was to try and bust some of those things that you've heard, obviously, whether they're true or not, but also to kind of bring to your attention that a lot of this stuff and how different things affect the voice is a very, very, very new. And while there's not a ton of scientific fact that says yes or no on a lot of those things, in general, it's just knowing your own body, knowing your own limitations, knowing what you can and cannot consume, knowing how you act in different environments, just things like that, just knowing your body and figuring out what's best for you. So there's a Mythbusters.
Thank you, Amy. She has put so much time into that. And thank you for those really great questions.
Yes, they were awesome, guys.
Wonderful.
Oh, the olive oil thing.
Oh.
Right, that was on here. I had never heard this one before, and I couldn't find anything that supported it. However, I think that it would go to the lozenge thing, right? That oil, because it doesn't dissolve in water and probably dissolves slower in saliva, it would dissolve because it helps us digest food, and there's oil in food. But it probably goes to lozenge thing. It's not going on your vocal cords because you would be drowning. It's going in your throat, and it might make you feel better. I don't know if drinking olive oil makes you feel better, but it's not helping anything, right? It's just masking. So there you go. Kind of goes with the lozenge thing.
I know you guys have been sitting all day long. You have been amazing.